You always own the option of having no opinion. When Marcus Aurelius wrote this in his private journal nearly 2,000 years ago, he wasn't trying to sound wise for others. He was reminding himself of a practice that could preserve his peace. Think about how often we give away our calm, not because of what happened, but because of the meaning we attach to it. Someone cuts you off in traffic, a stranger throws a rude comment online, a colleague dismisses your idea, or a family member forgets to appreciate your effort. The event itself is neutral, but instantly we attach a story. They disrespected me. People don't care. This always happens to me. That story fuels anger, and anger fuels suffering. The Stoics believe that no insult, inconvenience, or failure has the power to disturb you unless you allow it. Anger, to them, was poison disguised as fire. It feels powerful in the moment, but it burns you long after the spark is gone. Seneca warned, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality." In the same way, we are more often angered by the story in our heads than the truth in front of us. Epictetus echoed this. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Imagine a storm passing through. The winds roar, the rain beats down, but the storm itself has no intention to harm. It just exists. Whether you stand firm or let yourself be swept away is your choice. That's why the first Stoic rule for mastering anger is to separate what happened from what you think it means. This practice is simple but life-changing. Step 1. Pause before reacting. When anger rises, take 3 deliberate breaths. It interrupts the emotional storm before it takes over. Step 2. Reframe the story. Instead of "they disrespected me," consider maybe they're careless, maybe they're struggling, maybe it's not about me at all. Below. Step 3. Detach from judgment. Remind yourself, events are neutral, meaning is optional. The moment you stop tying your self-worth to every inconvenience, you stop being a puppet to external forces. Ask yourself in heated moments, am I upset because of what happened? Or because of the meaning I gave it? That one question can save your day. Anger never punishes the person who wronged you. It punishes you. It clouds your thinking, drains your energy, and damages your health. Why hand over that power to anyone else? Picture yourself like a rooted oak tree in a storm. Winds may rage, rain may pour, but you remain grounded. The storm passes. Your strength endures. Hold on to this truth. No one controls my peace but me. One of the most powerful Stoic strategies for dealing with anger is also one of the simplest. Expect people to be people. Marcus Aurelius began his mornings by reminding himself of this truth. He wrote, "Today I shall meet with interference, ingratitude, insolence, disloyalty, ill will, and selfishness. All of them due to the offender's ignorance of what is good or evil." At first glance, this sounds pessimistic, almost like he woke up expecting the worst from humanity. But look deeper. It wasn't cynicism, it was preparation. Marcus wasn't setting himself up to hate people. He was setting himself up not to be shocked by them. How often does anger flare up because someone failed to meet our expectations? A friend forgets to call, a coworker takes credit, a stranger cuts in line. We react not just to the act, but to the gap between what we expected and what actually happened. The Stoics understood that people act from their own beliefs, habits, and limitations. To expect perfect behavior is to set yourself up for constant disappointment. Think about it. Do you expect a child not to spill, or a dog never to bark? No. You expect them to act according to their nature. So why expect all humans to be wise, fair, and kind at all times? Marcus saw that unwise people act unwisely, just as fire burns and rain falls. When you frame it that way, the sting of offense softens. This doesn't mean we excuse bad behavior or let people walk over us. It means we stop taking it personally. If someone lies, it reflects their weakness, not your worth. If someone insults, it reveals their inner turmoil, not your identity. By expecting people to be flawed, you build emotional armor. Instead of reacting with outrage, you respond with understanding, or at least with calm indifference. Imagine walking into a crowded street market. You know it will be noisy, messy, and chaotic, because you expect it. You don't get angry when it happens. You simply navigate it. Life is the same. Expect the noise, the rudeness, the mistakes. That way, when people actually act with kindness, honesty, or fairness, it feels like a gift, not a right. The practical application. Each morning, remind yourself, today I will meet with selfishness, carelessness, and rudeness. Say it not with bitterness, but with calm acceptance. Then, when it happens, you can say, I expected this, instead of, how dare they? Anger loses its grip when you stop demanding perfection from imperfect creatures. This mindset turns daily annoyances into opportunities for practice. The driver cuts you off. Practice patience. The colleague interrupts. Practice humility. The stranger insults. Practice detachment. Each moment becomes training for inner strength. And here's the deeper wisdom. Expecting flaws in others reminds you to expect them in yourself too. You will forget, fail, and falter. And just as you hope others give you grace, you can learn to extend it outward. So hold this Stoic mantra close. People will act according to their nature. My peace depends on how I respond, not how they behave. The third Stoic rule for mastering anger requires humility. Remember that you too have done wrong. When we're hurt or disrespected, our first instinct is to magnify the fault of the other person, to put their mistake under a spotlight. But the Stoics remind us that before we let anger consume us, we should pause and reflect on our own record. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you wake up feeling sore at someone, remember, you are sore at yourself too. You have erred, you have forgotten, you have been unjust." This is not about guilt, it's about perspective. Anger thrives on self-righteousness. We convince ourselves that we are pure victims and the other is purely guilty. But life is rarely that simple. Think about it. How many times have you spoken harshly without meaning to? How many times have you ignored someone's need, broken a promise, or acted selfishly in the heat of the moment? Did you do it because you were evil? Of course not. You did it because you were stressed, distracted, or caught in your own struggle. The same is often true for those who wrong us. Seneca said, "When you are angry, always remember, it is not only a fault that has been committed, but a human being who has committed it." This shifts your focus from punishment to understanding. Consider this story. A friend betrays your trust by sharing something you asked them to keep private. Your first reaction may be fury. How could they? But step back. Have you ever shared something you shouldn't have? Maybe not with malice, but by accident or in a weak moment. Recognizing your own imperfections softens the sharp edges of judgment. It doesn't erase the wrong, but it stops anger from turning into bitterness. This rule is practical too. The next time you feel disrespected, pause and ask, "Have I ever done something similar?" The answer will almost always be yes in some form. And if you expect mercy when you stumble, why not extend it to others? That doesn't mean tolerating abuse or enabling harmful behavior. It means choosing understanding over outrage, clarity over fury. There's another layer here. Remembering your own flaws creates gratitude for those who have forgiven you in the past. Every act of patience you've received is a reminder to pay it forward. Imagine how different the world would look if everyone gave others the same grace they themselves had once been given. This mindset disarms anger before it becomes poison. It replaces, "How dare they?" with, "I too have failed." It transforms the offender from a villain into a fellow human on the same messy journey of growth. The Stoic aim is not to excuse harm, but to prevent anger from chaining you to hatred. So the next time rage rises, recall this phrase, "I have done wrong too, and I was shown mercy. I can choose to do the same." If there is one Stoic principle that unlocks peace faster than any other, it is this: focus only on what you can control. Epictetus laid it out with razor-sharp clarity. Some things are up to us, and some things are not. Simple words, but they contain the secret to freedom. Think about where anger often comes from. A driver cuts you off, and you rage. A co-worker criticizes you, and you stew. A partner forgets. A boss delays. A stranger insults. In every case, anger is tied to something outside your control, the choices, words, or behavior of another. The Stoics would say, that's wasted energy. You cannot control what others do. You cannot control fortune, weather, traffic, or fate. What you can always control is your response, your thoughts, your actions, your character. Here's the paradox. The more you fight to control what is not yours, the weaker you feel. The more you focus on what is truly yours, the stronger you become. Imagine a sailor in a storm. He cannot control the wind or waves. If he curses the storm, he wastes his breath. If he adjusts his sails and steers wisely, he survives. Life is the same. Anger is cursing the storm. Wisdom is steering the ship. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Anger clouds this truth. It convinces you that yelling, punishing, or resenting will somehow bend the world to your will. But what happens? You lose peace, while the world remains unchanged. The practice, then, is to constantly draw a line. What is within my control, and what is beyond it? If it's beyond, let it go. If it's within, act with courage and wisdom. Let's take an example. Your colleague spreads a false rumor. You cannot control their words, but you can control how you respond, whether with calm clarification, quiet dignity, or letting your work speak louder. Or consider traffic. You cannot control the cars, but you can control your state. Do you fume and worsen your health, or do you breathe deeply, listen to something inspiring, and arrive calmer? This isn't weakness, it's strength. It's reclaiming energy from what you cannot change and investing it where it counts. A practical exercise. Whenever you feel anger rise, ask, is this within my control? If no, release it. If yes, act wisely. Over time, this becomes second nature. You stop being a puppet pulled by outside chaos, and you start being the calm center in the storm. Epictetus put it beautifully. Don't demand that events happen as you wish, but wish them to happen as they do, and your life will flow smoothly. That is not resignation. It's liberation. Anger fades when you stop wrestling with what was never yours to control. So hold on to this truth. Peace belongs to those who master their response, not those who master the world. The Stoics often reminded themselves of life's brevity, not to depress, but to awaken. Life is short, too short to waste on anger. Seneca, who wrote an entire essay titled On the Shortness of Life, argued that most people don't live too little, they just waste too much. And nothing wastes life faster than anger. Think about it. How many hours, even days, have you lost, replaying an insult in your mind? How many moments of peace have been stolen by grudges you carried for months or years? Anger doesn't just ruin a moment. It eats away at your time, your health, your relationships. Marcus Aurelius put it bluntly. How much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it? The insult is quick. The grudge is long. The traffic jam ends. The stress lingers. The betrayal happened once. The bitterness can replay endlessly. And every replay is stolen life. The Stoics believed that every day could be your last. So why squander it in rage? Imagine lying on your deathbed. Would you be proud that you spent weeks fuming over what a co-worker said? Or that you wasted years avoiding someone you once loved because of anger? Of course not. You'd wish you had let it go sooner. This awareness changes how you deal with daily irritations. When you catch yourself stewing, ask, If this were my last day, would I give my remaining hours to this anger? Almost always the answer is no. That question itself can snap you back into perspective. Here's a story. A man once approached Epictetus furious at being cheated. Epictetus asked, "Will you let a thief steal not only your money, but also your peace, your sleep, your mind?" That's what anger does. It robs you twice. First of what happened, and then of your joy afterward. Why give anyone that much power over your limited days? A practical exercise. Keep a reminder of mortality close, as the Stoics did. The Latin phrase, memento mori me, and remember you must die. It sounds grim, but it's profoundly freeing. When you remember life is short, petty offenses shrink. Suddenly the rude driver, the gossiping colleague, the forgotten thank you, none of it seems worth burning your limited hours over. Instead, you redirect energy toward what truly matters: love, purpose, virtue, joy. The Stoics didn't preach cold detachment. They preached wise investment of time. Every moment in anger is a withdrawal from your finite account of life. Every moment in calm clarity is an investment in living fully. Hold on to this truth. Anger wastes the one resource you can never get back: time. Choose peace, because life is too short for anything else. The final Stoic lessons bring everything together. Master your inner dialogue and remember that calmness is strength. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that it's not external chaos that destroys peace, but the words we whisper inside our own heads. If you tell yourself, "This is unbearable, this is unfair, this is insulting," anger ignites. But if you tell yourself, "This is an opportunity to practice patience, to grow stronger, to prove my calm," then anger loses its grip. The Stoics believed the voice in your head shapes the quality of your life. Control that voice, and you control your emotions. This ties to the last rule. Calmness is not weakness, it is power. Anyone can lash out. Few can remain steady. A calm leader earns respect. A calm parent builds trust. A calm friend diffuses tension. Seneca said, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay." That delay, those few moments of calm, give you clarity and control. When you pause, breathe, and choose your words carefully, you stop being a slave to impulse and become a master of yourself. Think of it like martial arts. The skilled fighter doesn't waste energy on wild swings. They conserve strength, move with precision, and strike only when necessary. Calmness works the same way. It channels energy into effectiveness instead of waste. And here's the deeper truth. Calmness protects your dignity. Anger often leads to words and actions you later regret, but calmness leaves no scars. It keeps your character intact. A practical habit is to carry a mantra with you. No one controls my peace but me. Repeat it in tense moments. It reminds you that anger is a choice, not a command. Over time, this mindset rewires your responses. You stop living as a puppet to insults and inconveniences, and you start living as the author of your reactions. Together, these Stoic rules form a complete shield against anger. Separate events from judgments. Expect people to be flawed. Remember your own mistakes. Focus on what you control. Guard your time. Avoid self-poison. Master your dialogue and embody calmness. None of this is instant. It's a practice. But each time you pause instead of explode, each time you choose understanding over outrage, you train your mind toward freedom. The Stoics didn't promise a life free of problems. They promised a mind free from slavery to those problems, and that is real strength. So the next time anger knocks on your door, pause, breathe, and remember, the storm can rage, but you decide whether it enters